The road to riches is a treacherous one, to say the least. Today I'm going to tell you a story of how I ended up trapped outside in the knife capital of the world, central London, with over £60,000 worth of stock in IKEA bags trapped on the street. So let me just set the scene and just explain the whole London situation for anybody who's watching who isn't from England. So I'm from up north, I'm from northern England. Now they say Scotland's up north, and technically Scotland is up north, but any proper northerner will tell you that the northerners that we are, which is in the middle of England, West Yorkshire, Yorkshire, they're the real northerners, right? So let's get that thing straight. London and northern England are two very, very different places, like down south and up north. Very, very different places, almost like different countries, just everyone speaks English, right? Take a sip of my coffee. I'm in Vietnam right now, by the way. I'm doing a bit of a sourcing trip, visiting factories and trying to build some connections. Also, I needed to come here for my visa anyway. So yeah, the whole London situation. Now, Southerners act a certain way and Northerners act a different way. Everybody from England will tell you this. Now, the thing is with the Northerners, it's very rare you go to London, to be honest. Like, I've been to London many a time, but when I was a kid, I probably went to London once in my first 19 years of life, right? Once or twice maybe. I remember the first time I ever went to London, I went to Wembley, and I went to actually see Luton Town, funnily enough. Don't ask me why, but I went to see Luton Town at Wembley, and it was pretty good. It was a pretty good time, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good. So, this is what we did. With London, I first realised that London was such a different place when I first went and did a bit of business down there. So I used to do these trade shows, and these trade shows were a very, very big earner for me. Very, very big earner. And the first one I ever did was in Liverpool, but I went to Manchester, even went to Germany before. But the first time I ever went to London, I made about, no, it was 10 grand. It was 10 grand in a single day. And the first time I went to Liverpool, I did 2,700, so it was a big difference. And that was like a life-changing moment for me, because what I realised is, like, that was like the light bulb moment when I thought, right, I'm gonna make some serious money doing this, you know? And that like broke some limiting beliefs in my head. Like, I'd never seen any money like that before. I'd never heard of anybody making money like that. I'd never been exposed to it, ever. And that really showed me how different it is away from where I grew up, yeah? So like I said, people don't really travel down south if you're from up north. It's very rare. Maybe you just go and do some tourist shit on a day out, but it's not a very frequent thing to travel down to London, so you don't really like feel that wealth difference. Now the thing is with the UK, London's rich. As much as people want to talk shit, crime, blah blah blah, a lot of poverty in London, cool, but there is some serious money in London. They spend it different. They earn it different, it's just different, it's bigger, rent is more expensive, it's busier, there's more people from all over the world. If you're from a quiet town up north, it might be once in 10 years you run into somebody from a different country in your area, right? People are not going through it, there's no reason for people to go through it. So you get these small towns, there's a lot of forgotten cities up north and stuff. And the spending money is just not the same. Like, people live in a secured bubble, people don't really spend as much money. The rent's a lot cheaper, life's a lot slower, there's less things to do, people don't earn as much money, people earn a lot more money in London. So this is it, first trade show, 10 grand in a single day. Couldn't believe it, completely broke my limiting beliefs, right? Considering a year and a half before that, or even 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, I was literally picking up scrap metal on the side of the road and weighing it in, right? So listen, I don't know about you and where you grew up, yeah, but 10 grand in a day for me, I will do a lot of things for that. I'll go to Afghanistan for that. I'll do anything for 10 G's in a day. And I genuinely mean that. I'm not saying that to be like one of these hustle bros. I will do anything for that within my morals, okay? Now, 10 grand in a day, that was my new benchmark. So once I did that, I was like, you know what? If I can level up every single time, I'm gonna earn more money every single time. Because like my first trade show I ever did, I made 200 quid. But then I seen other people making money. This was Liverpool. Then I went back the next year and I made 2,700, so it was a big jump, I 10x'd it. And I just thought to myself, if I can make 10 grand in a day, because it broke a limiting belief, I thought, I can make 20 in a day, I can make 15 in a day, you know? And then you start thinking of ways that you can do that, right? Now the problem is, this were in the van days, right? I had this little silver Renault Kangoo from 2008. First vehicle, van, it was a van. And I used to hustle out of this van like crazy, right? I'd just be doing buying and selling and flips and just constantly. I put 40,000 miles on this van in the first year. Now, when it started getting to the time of me needing to go to London, the van had a problem with it, right? And the problem was, there was a crack in the water tank. So what this basically meant was, the water would leak out really fast and you had to keep filling it up. Now the problem is, if the water runs out, the engine could seize. Now, at the time, I didn't really have the capital to buy a vehicle. I didn't really want to go buy another vehicle. And I could have just rented one, but I was 19. Insurance is a scam in England, you can't rent vehicles. You know, you can't go get on a short insurance policy and rent a van at 19, right? At least I couldn't, for what I needed, right? So, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Now, to be honest, the only thing I could do was go in the van, right? Is what it is. I needed to make the money. I'm taking this show seriously. It's going on, right? So my plan was, I'm going to take this van, fill it with stock, get my friends, there were 3 people with me, and there's a car as well, fill both vehicles, and then drive down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the van up at the service station. So every service station I'll pull over and just fill the water up in the water tank. Because it had a crack in it, right? So it'd be leaking out fast. But if I filled it up and kept it topped up, I thought it'd be okay. Because I'm driving this van with a water crack for a few weeks, yeah? And I've just got to fill it up all the time. So we've set off, right? And I'm in the car. We filled all the van from the stock in my office, filled to the brim with stock, and filled the Astra that my mates were in, right? So there's 3 of us in total. Well, 4 of us in total. So there's me and my mate in the van. Now, we're setting off down to London. I booked the table, paid hundreds of pounds for the table. I booked the Airbnbs. I filled both vehicles up. We've tagged and bagged everything, filled all the stock up, and everything's ready to go. Planned everything for days. And I'm like, this is going to be a big day. I'm going to go down to London. I'm going to make 5 figures. It's all going to be in cash. I'm going to drive home for stack like this, yeah. I can't wait. I'm like, oh, it could be 10, could be 15. You know, I'm so excited for the next day. So I'm like, this is a big earner. This is a big earner coming up, right? So we've set off. It's about a 4-hour journey from up north, where I am, West Yorkshire, to get down to, you know, London, right? It's about a 4-hour journey. So we set off, got to about Wakefield. This is about 20 minutes away from where I live, right? Literally got to Wakefield. I'm turned like this, you know, driving the van, talking to my friend, and, you know, we're talking about the van, and he's asking about it, and I'm telling him about it. Then all of a sudden, whilst I'm looking at him, I can feel the van losing power, right? I genuinely feel it losing power. He thinks I'm joking, okay? Because we're just talking about it. He thinks I'm joking. I'm fucking not, yeah. The engine's seizing on the fast lane on the motorway, right? We're literally on the motorway down to London, on the M1. And I pulled over on the hard shoulder, and I'm just like, fuck. This is not looking good, right? And the thing is, I knew what it was. It wasn't like I ran over a nail or like something happened. I knew about the water tank, so I knew exactly what it was, right? So we've had to pull over on the hard shoulder. Luckily, I've just made it over. So we're in the fast lane. The engine seized in the fast lane, and I've luckily made it over to the hard shoulder, right? So now pulled over to the hard shoulder. I'm trying to think of a different plan on the side of the motorway. Now, I'll put a video on screen. Actually, you'll see how young I am in this video. This is beardless Theo. Not a good one. And my van's parked on the hard shoulder, and there's like a metal wall all the way down, and there's a door on it, and it's made for people who break down, and you can go wait in somewhere a bit more safe, right? You wait in this door, and that's where we were waiting. And now I'm trying to think what's the best possible move, right? Because what you've got to understand is, this is a big money day, for one. Like, we're talking a lot of money, right? A lot of fucking money in a day. And, you know, I'll do whatever for it, right? And I've also got the money invested in the tables and in the vehicles and in three lads to come down with me, right? So I've got all this and the Airbnb, I've got all this money invested, everything's planned out, it's almost too perfect and ready to go. All I need to do is get down to London. So start ringing people up, people with big cars, people with vans. Now I did actually know people with vans at the time, but the thing is, you call somebody at 6 PM, right? This was the day before the show, by the way. You know, plan to go down the day before. You call somebody at 6 PM and say, oh, any chance you can take us to London right now? You know, like drive 4 hours and drive 4 hours back. You're gonna have a low chance, right? And even the people who have vans, the vans have got shit in it. You know, if they're using a van for something, it's likely got stuff in it. So they've got to then empty it and then come get you and all this type of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep ringing till I find someone to take me down, because I need to get down to the show. But the problem is, we're on the hard shoulder and the van's full of stock. So I've tried to get the van moved onto the nearest the nearest service station. I've called up my gypsy friend, and he's come to collect the van after about an hour and a half, right? He's towed the van to the service station. Now, the problem is, the van was an old van, engine was seized, it was worth its scrap value, right? The scrap value was, unfortunately, pretty much the same price as it cost me to get the van recovered to the service station. So I basically give my gypsy friend my van. I just give him it, right? It won't worth anything to me, just to pay for the cost of getting to the service station. So now we've got another problem. I need to get down to London. So I'm ringing up people who might have a van, and I did have a friend who worked for Amazon, right? He had a Ford Transit Custom silver van, right? And he actually said, yeah, we'll take you, but I need to finish work. So he finished work in a couple hours. We just had to wait around. As soon as he finished work, van was empty, came to pick us up. We moved all the stock from one van to another van, and then I left the van at the service station, let my gypsy friends take it. I forgot about that. So now we're on his way down to London. Funny story so far. We're fucking singing in the car on the way down, having a laugh. My mate's driving, just finished work at Amazon, and his plan is to drop us off and drive all the way back. So we drove down to London. Me and my other friend are in the Transit Custom, the new van with all the stuff in. My two other friends, they're in the Astra, also got loads of stock in. So we get to this Airbnb, get all the way down to London, and the event is in Wembley, right? Box Park, Wembley. And we've gone and found this random spot for an Airbnb, right? And it's just in a random place in Wembley. The area was okay though. So we've put all the stuff from the vehicles into the Airbnb, because I'm not leaving all the stock in the car overnight. It's valuable stock, branded stock, you can see it through the windows. We needed to take it all in. So we put it all in the Airbnb, slept in the Airbnb, got up early the next day, no problem. Got up early, did a few trips from the Airbnb to the event, which was at Box Park, Wembley. It's like a stone throw away from Wembley Stadium. Like, you can literally see Wembley Stadium right there. You are right outside Wembley Stadium, right? So we've got to the show, got all the stuff, absolutely fine, blah, blah, blah. Traded all day, absolutely shit day. Shit day. Maybe made 4 grand in sales. Yeah, 4 grand in sales. Bearing in mind, I've got all the product cost, I've got the Airbnb now, I've got the show tables, I've got 3 lads' wages, I've got 2 vehicles worth of fuel. And the thing is, I filled up the van to the brim of fuel, which was probably about 70 quid, and I forgot that I filled it up. So I gave him the van to pick the van up, and it was absolutely filled to the brim with fuel as well. So just a fucking bad day. So we've got down there, really shit day, done about 4 grand in sales. I've got all these other costs. I've just lost money. I've gone through all this effort and I've just lost money. And now I've got another cost. I think I paid my friend £250, £300 to take us down, because what he had to do is, he had to finish work, drive straight to London for 4 hours, and then turn around and come straight back for another 4 hours. So he had 8 hours driving after work. So he probably went to work for 8 hours, then drove for another 8 hours. I still to this day can't believe he did it. Really, really got a lot of respect for me when he did that for me, because there's not a lot of people that would do that. You know, I paid him quite well, but even still. Now, the crazy thing is, we also needed a lift the next day, right? Because what you got to understand is, I thought that we'd just sell loads of stock and we'd have space in the car on the way back. Because it was such a shit day, I didn't even sell much stock, so we still had all the stuff. So we're trying to take the piss in this venue. Now the thing is about this venue, they open it up for events like this trade show through the day, but then at night time there's loads of restaurants around it, or like little bars, and not alcoholic bars, but like where you can get food and you can sit in the middle. So what they basically do is, over a couple hour period when the event finishes, they transition it over to like a social thing where people come and eat food and drink and all this type of stuff, right? So we needed to be out there. And we're just taking the piss, like proper taking the piss. Being slow to pack up, avoiding the security, avoiding the, asking for more time, or just anything we can do to take the piss. But it just got to the point when they were just like, you know what, you need to leave. And we're trying to explain to them, like, look, we're waiting for the lift. Now, my friend, my Amazon friend, was coming back the next day. He was coming back to do it again to take us back, right? But the thing is, this time, he was working a longer day, and we didn't really have the time to wait, right? So they're pushing us out of this venue, and we're trying to explain to him, like, listen, we've got like a high value amount of stock, like literally 60 G's worth of stock at least, right? In IKEA bags, those blue IKEA bags, all the clear ones. It's branded stuff, everybody can see what it is, right? It's just IKEA bags on IKEA bags on IKEA bags, nothing else, right? So we've got all these IKEA bags, and they're just turfing us out. They won't even let us wait in the hallway. They're pretty much pushing us out at this point. So now there's 4 of us, and we're stood outside Wembley Stadium at 9 PM with 60 G's worth of stock in IKEA bags, right? And look, people will stab you for 10 grand in London, yeah? No problem, right? And if they can see it and it's that stealable, you're in a very, very bad potential situation right there, right? Especially in Wembley. And listen, I'm not a Londoner. I've been to London loads of times now, but at the time I'd only been to London a couple times. We've all seen Top Boy. I don't know what it's fucking like. Yeah, we've all seen the news. I don't know what it's like, but I know for a fact what you don't want to be is on the streets in London with all that stock. So now there's 4 of us, we're all trying to ring people who we maybe know that might be in London, people we went to school with, people we've met before, just ringing around. This is a Sunday night at 9 PM, and we're trying to find somewhere to go, right? So what we've ended up doing is, one of my friends has got in contact with one guy that he met at some random event, some networking event, like 3 years ago, right? So he's met him one time. And he's basically said, and asked this guy, can we come over with all this stuff? And this guy said yes, right? This black guy from London. Now, he sent us an address at some random estate in London. And listen, I don't know the areas of London, right? I've just seen Fredo on YouTube and shit. I don't know if he's good. He lives on fucking Church Road. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know how safe this place is going to be, but at the minute we're on the street, that's like, I'd put money on that that's probably the worst position you could be in. So I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, we're going to have to trust this lad, this guy that I've never met before, we're going to have to trust him. And I'm not even confident my friend knows him properly. You know, think about it. He's only met him one time, he's just got his phone number from this networking event, this random networking event. So my friend doesn't even know him. But we've had to get off the streets. So we've ended up trusting this guy. We've done a few trips to get all the stock to his house. He's let us in his house at 9 PM on a Sunday and let us wait for 3 hours in his house with all this stuff. For 3 hours. This guy that I've never met before. He let us sit on the sofa, we were chilling. Absolutely saved my ass. This random guy I've never ever met before. And we sat there and we waited. I waited for my friend to come back down in the van. At this point, he's got up, worked all day, done another 4 hours driving, 8 hours the day before, and a day's full of work before that. I had to drive home in his van and made it back safely. And that was a very, very close call. But listen, the reason why I'm telling you all this story is because, you know, if you want to make 10 grand in a day, you've got to be willing to lose 10 grand in a day. And it's all good these days when they come through and they happen, but you know, if you can't handle the days when it doesn't happen and you've still put in all the effort, then you know, you're never gonna get the days when it does happen. So yeah, pretty crazy story, whole lot of effort, whole lot of money lost, plenty of them ones, and yeah, crazy story. Be safe in London.